DNC changes superdelegate presidential nomination process. I'm sure you guys have heard about this already. Democrats on Saturday voted to chip away at the role party insiders play in choosing the party's presidential nominee in one of the biggest changes to the process in decades. The move to limit the influence of superdelegates at the party's convention. All right, so we all know why that's happening. In a surprising united vote, almost all members of the DNC curtailed the ability of superdelegates to vote on the first ballot for the party's presidential nominee beginning with the next election. The move ended a vehemently contested debate that had pitted a majority of DNC members supporting the change against the two former party chairs, members of the Congressional Black Caucus, and others who opposed the new rules. Saturday's vote officially barred the superdelegates from voting on the first ballot to choose the party's presidential nominee unless a candidate had secured a majority of the convention using only pledged delegates whose votes are earned in the primary process. Beginning with the 2020 nominations, candidates will no longer be able to count the superdelegates if they want to win the party's nomination on the first ballot of voting at the convention. This makes it impossible for superdelegates to change the outcome of the pledged delegates' will, which has never occurred since superdelegates were created. Today is a historic day in our party, Tom Perez says. All right, so here's some other changes. Declaring yourself Democrat. Candidates seeking the party's presidential nomination will now have to declare themselves as Democrats in writing to the DNC. This is basically code for bend the knee. A change pointed at Bernie Sanders. Caucus overhauls. Caucus has undergone several changes as well. The party is officially encouraging states to use government-run primaries to give access to people who can't make the actual caucus and implement same-day party change. Transparency. The DNC is now required to be more transparent on operations, finances, and dealings with Democratic presidential candidates. We'll see. I mean, that's a little vague. We'll see what happens there. And gender inclusion. Language for rules that mandate gender equality in committees, caucuses, and other bodies has also been expanded to include members who are gender non-binary. All right. And there's Anderson Cooper. He's looking ahead. He's looking forward. He's a visionary. So, you know, we've talked about this already. I mean, I talked about it yesterday on the live stream over at the Jimmy Dore Show. I'll say this to be positive here to start. I was expecting a lot less. So, you know, to start with some optimism, these reforms are a good thing, yes. They are significantly less than what I was expecting. I was expecting some bullshit like reduction in the number, and that was about it. I wasn't expecting a, you know, not suppression, but an exclusion from the first round completely. So it's better than I expected. So there's the kind of, you know, positive take, right? This is better than I expected. This is a good reform, yes. So, all right, there's the good news. Now here's the other side of it too. It's not quite enough. There's one appropriate number of superdelegates. 0. That's in the first round. That's in the second round. That's in the however many rounds. It doesn't matter. 0 is the appropriate number. And because this is sort of open-ended as far as when the chair can step in and implement superdelegates, they still, and Donna Brazil said this on her own Twitter account, superdelegates still have a seat at the table and they can still set the menu. Donna Brazil said that. And as far as the people that feel suppressed because of this, I don't understand how. Superdelegates are basically, I mean, it's not fair. Like there's nothing democratic about it. And superdelegates exist to tell you, the voter, you're too dumb to make sure we have the right nominee on your own. So you need us here with our votes that matter more to make sure you get the right nominee. You need us here. So I do think this is a little more than just a head fake, you know, to be a little bit optimistic. But is it enough? No, it's not. It's kind of the comparison I like to make is when we're talking about healthcare and we were talking about the ACA and stuff like that, where there were all these proposals there, and a lot of them included the insurance companies still at the table. And it's like, no. To have a better system, the insurance companies need to go away. They need to go bye-bye. There's no way we can have a for-profit insurance system, period, and have the best health care system we could have. It's just not, like, they have to go away. They are parasites. This is a similar notion. No, the superdelegates have to go away. As long as they exist, the entire process is tainted. You can't just say, oh, well, they can cheat later. Not good enough. Not good enough. It's good that so many people were overwhelmingly in favor of it. It shows that that's where the will of the people are. But again, you can't... You can't be fooled into thinking, oh, okay, well, we solved this. What do we do next? No, the superdelegates are still there. And this isn't some unreasonable purity test. This isn't some... This is simply wanting a democratic process. I mean, this is the bare minimum. It is the bare minimum to expect a political party to allow the voters to decide the nominee. And that's still too much to ask. After everything that happened in 2016, and the fact that the Democratic Party is bleeding members, people are fleeing that party like the Titanic. And even despite all that, it still wasn't quite... You couldn't just say, okay, we're going to do away with superdelegates. Why not? We know why not. So, yeah, now there's a little bit of flexibility in the first round. However, the head can step in. The chair can make a judgment call. And they can still throw the weight around later. And all we're asking for is the ability to choose our own nominee. What type of political party denies that to people? And then there's the gross irony of it all. They're called the Democratic Party. They're called the Democratic Party. So, you know, to sum it up, the positive of all this, people want this overwhelmingly. That's the positive. And it is more than I expected. I expected just some numerical nonsense. So it's a little more than that. But it's nowhere close to enough. And the superdelegates can still throw their weight around.
Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your